Yugal, maybe we can just jump off that point that we were just discussing about Musk's next steps here. There was some pessimism in the stock market before the shares began trading in the pre-market this morning. Now shares are higher. Do you think it has to do with this idea that by not joining the board, he doesn't have to sign the standstill agreement? People are thinking that maybe he could ruffle some more feathers as potentially an activist?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on this today. Look, I think that's likely what's driving it. Elon brings a certain kind of aura around him with these things, and he saw over the weekend he certainly was not quiet about some of his views about the company, and he really hasn't been. And being on the board, you can't really be that vocal the way he was over the weekend. So that's likely kind of the take right now. Where do we go from here? And potential that Elon takes a greater stake and it becomes a little bit more active. That said, exactly what that looks like, I think, is really hard to tell, and whether that can actually be successful. And the ideas that Elon's thrown out so far are things that can actually help Twitter. That's debatable at best.
What's your take? Do you think that his ideas that he's thrown out, tweeting that Twitter should consider removing ads, changing its name, converting its San Francisco headquarters to a homeless shelter, do you think those would be net positive for Twitter?
I'm not sure if those things would be net positives at all. The only serious thing in any of that was really around the subscription product, and even that, it's really not a needle mover right now. It's really, first of all, it's brand new, and it's a really small portion of the overall revenue and products, and so that's not really a thing that's gonna be a game changer for Twitter right now. Removing ads, that's not even a possibility. That's their entire business model. So really, so far, has been nothing constructive from Elon about how to actually improve Twitter. And I think that says a lot about the current situation right now, especially for Twitter, its management team, and its board.
Yeah, to that point, one of his more provocative tweets over the weekend was this suggestion and the question of whether Twitter is dying, pointing out those users with the highest follower count and how there's a paucity of their tweets. I mean, does that lead you to believe that someone's going to come along at some point within the company and trim that long-term DAU target?
From the management team itself, I mean, probably not in the near term, and they have set a target. I think there's a lot of debate about whether they can actually hit that. There's a lot of execution that Twitter needs here over the coming quarters to get to the target that they set early last year. You saw kind of a big boost of engagement early on in the pandemic. That's when we saw across digital as a whole, the entire digital landscape. Twitter saw a benefit from that. That faded a little bit over the past couple of quarters. And now really it's about product innovation and creating an environment that can bring that level of users. I wouldn't expect the company to cut the target, but whether they can actually hit it, I think is a critical question. And it's something that, you look at the street consensus. It's not near where their target is set. I think that says a lot about the expectations.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.